Hey guys, it's me Asia, like no intro, nothing today. Is my camera falling? Indeed it is. I'm filming this on my phone. This is kind of going to be quick and short, but I wanted to talk about the whole Black Lives Matter movement real quick and wanted to talk about George Floyd and everything that's happening right now in the black community because I feel like I don't want y'all to get the wrong idea that I don't support the black community as a black person and that this is not an issue that I care about because I'm not bringing it to my platform as a YouTuber when it's not the truth and it's exactly the opposite. When I first seen the video of George Floyd, it brought a lot of emotions and it sucks because it's kind of hard to not, I'm not gonna say to care and not to care, but it's just like everybody always say how history always repeats itself, and in my case I feel like history is just going to keep repeating itself. I feel like no matter how much we protest, no matter how much we do and all the work that we put into the Black Lives Matter movement, I feel like it's always going to turn into All Lives Matter. It's always going to turn into Blue Lives Matter, and it's always going to turn into history repeating itself, and it's always going to show us time and time again that black lives do not matter and that black people are not important when it's the black people who build the very ground that these white people use the white privilege for. And that's basically how I feel like on this situation. I feel like there's nothing that we can ever do to prove our worth to this country, to prove our worth to America, because they took us away from our home, from our ancestors, from our place of birth, from Africa, and changed it and chained CHAINED, chained us and bondaged us to the grounds of agriculture and sharecropping, and they made us slaves. White people got rich off the black person's dollar. That's how I always seen it. That's how it's always gonna be, and that's just not a conversation they want to talk about. They always want to say, Donald Trump always want to say, "Make America great again." But when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Like, is that really how you want to solve this problem? This is why that's why we're in the predicament that we in. And it's like, I feel like there's nothing that we could do as a black community because white people are the superior race in America. It is always going to be the white people are better. No matter how we look at it, is that as long as black people keep creating more black culture for white people still, then we're going to be fine. We're going to be okay, because at the end of the day, as long as white people have things to stuff for black people, then to the white people, we never owe anything to them. When that's not the case, when they took 400 plus years worth of ancestry away from us, they took us from our birth, they took our ancestors away from our birth nation, they took us away from our birth language, they took us away from our roots. They tried to tell us that our cornrows are too ugly. They tried to tell us that our natural hair is not deemed pretty enough for society. They tried to tell us that our melatonin skin that protects us from the sun rays is not love enough. They tried to tell us that anything about our birthland, anything about the birth of our nation is identically wrong. And if you're not white with straight hair, you're not good enough. If you're not light skinned, you're not good enough. And then there's some people who bring up the argument about, well, what about the stuff that goes on within the black community with the black on black crime? We know what goes on in our community. We know how it goes, but that black on black crime is also created by the white person. For example, a black on black crime in our community, it's not just about the gangs and the gang violence. The hugest black on black crime that we have in our community is colorism, light skin versus dark skin. Come on now, that's the biggest black on black crime you could ever do in our community. Telling light skinned girls that they are better than dark skinned girls and making dark skinned girls feel like they're not on the same level of light skin, because light skinned people deemed to be more white because they have less melanin pigment in their skin, vice versus a dark-skinned girl because she has more melanin pigment in her skin. Make that make sense. The biggest divide they ever put in our community is black on black crime is colorism. Come on now, don't let them use the war on drugs crime to tell you that is the biggest crime in the black community when it's not. The biggest crime that we have faced in our community is that how black people is always going to be deemed less than. They treat us like we're the penny to the quarter. They treat white people like they're the quarter, and they treat black people like we're the penny. Something that you just want to pick up off the ground and maybe think about tucking in your pocket. Maybe this might be good someday. I'm sick and tired of having to fight a fight that we're never going to win. I feel like we're never going to win because black people are not going to ever be superior to white people. And white people just cannot understand that. They cannot get that in their heads. And it's just like there's so much that the white people do that they can get away with that black people can never ever get away with. And I think that's probably why I haven't really wanted to talk about any of this on my YouTube platform. And I'll talk a little bit about this on my Instagram. So if you follow me there, you might have seen that I've been posting and been really active on my Instagram. But it's just like, I don't know how to feel. I don't know like what to say or how to act on this, because I feel like at the end of the day what we're saying is never going to matter. We can protest, we can march, we can do whatever we want, but it's never going to matter because black people don't matter. You see what Donald Trump say? Our own president don't give two fucks. How does that make you feel? As a black woman, I'm infuriated. And then people using this time is like, support black business. It's just like, it's just so much going on. I didn't know how to feel. Yesterday when I was driving around, I seen that they were out protesting, and it was a lot of people, and I stay more in like a predominantly white area, so that was just like interesting kind of to see. And the police were like policing the protests or whatever. I couldn't really tell, but it was just really a lot of cops out more in the neighborhood than it is normally. So I just wanted to get that off my chest and just like have this little talk. For my intro to sociology class, for my final project, I talked about digital activism. And I think I might upload that as like a little podcast, and you guys can listen to how I talked about digital activism and how the Black Lives Matter movement actually got started due to Trayvon Martin in 2014. If you guys are more interested in that and how digital activism works on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram and things like that, and how it plays a huge role within the protests that we have. And I think this is very important, especially with Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and I think his name is Ahmaud. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's really late. So I just really wanted to talk about that real quick and get that off my chest. But I would try to post whatever links I could find down below. If you really want to know some more people's opinions, I definitely say watch Naja Iman and definitely Aaliyah Simone. Those two young ladies, and one more, I think, and Kai Foster. Those three young ladies hit it right on the nail when it came to talking about this whole movement of Black Lives Matters and how YouTubers are not using their platform to speak up, and a lot of them have went silent. I don't want to be one of those YouTubers who are going silent, because that's not how I feel. And I just wanted to get the chance to like really come forward and say how I feel, because at the end of the day, I feel like history is always going to repeat itself. It's been over 400 plus years, and history is still repeating itself. Because at the end of the day, as long as there's white people leading this country, as long as there is white people controlling the government, as long as it's the white people controlling the school systems, as long as it's white people controlling stuff, it's never going to get done. It's never going to favor the black person. It's always going to favor the white person. And I think the perfect example of this is dichotomies. Like from the very young age, we're taught dichotomies, which is just like good versus bad, simple. And we're taught one of the dichotomies we learn in literature is black versus white, and how white is seen good and black is deemed bad. And I feel like Sorry, my phone's set 10%, but I just feel like we're just in this ongoing losing battle, and maybe one day down the line, history will not repeat itself. But I just feel like history is always going to repeat itself, and it sucks that there's no hope for people who are bringing in these wonderful black baby girls and baby boys who are never going to understand that they life is never going to be as important as their white friends or their white counterparts, and that they're only going to be deemed as somebody else that the white people can keep stealing from for years and years and years. Our culture has been stealt from, and is going to continue to be stealt from. They steal our music, they steal our clothing taste, they steal how we wear our hair, they steal the way we talk, they steal our ebonics, they steal our slang, they steal our gangs, they steal our gang signs. They want to be everything about black, but be black. Just make that make sense. That's really all I had to say on the topic. Maybe in the next video I'll post my digital activism podcast that I made for Intro to Sociology. I think that would really be really keen. I'll bring in a lot more points there, but that's all I have to say for today. Subscribe if you want to hear more. When I become more educated and read up some more about what's going on, I will continue to talk about this on my channel. But I am not silent. I stand with you all, and it's forever Black Lives Matter. So I'll let this be deemed now. If you don't like me because I'm black, unsubscribe. If you don't like me because I support the Black Lives Matter movement, then unsubscribe. If you white and you're racist, unsubscribe. I'd rather be here with 100 subscribers who care about me and the message that I'm sharing on my channel than be here with 7,000 plus subscribers with people who are just here and don't agree with any of my messages. So if you do not agree with me today in this video, dislike. I don't care. Unsubscribe. I don't care, because it's not about the numbers for me. Alright? It's not. That's all I have to say about it. Please stay safe, calm, and collected. And I'll post whatever TikToks and videos that I find that are very helpful, who talks about the Black Lives Matter movement so far. And in the next video, hopefully I can see you guys and it's something more positive and upbeat. And yeah, I love you guys all the way to the winner back. Please stay safe. Bye.
More white people are killed by cops than black people.
Yeah, because there are more white people than black people in the USA. Considering the fact that black people are arrested far more disproportionately than white people for the same amount of crimes, these two stats might actually be related. For weed smoking, for example, black people and white people consume weed at about the same rate, but black people get arrested like 4 times as much as it.
But why?
Because black neighborhoods are over-policed. Let's say you have 2 neighborhoods, white and black, and the black one's a little bit poor. With that being the case, poorer neighborhoods tend to commit more crime, so the police chief says, okay, we're going to direct more resources towards the poor, the black neighborhood. Then, another 5 years roll around, another crime study is done on both neighborhoods. It turns out that in spite of the fact that police are overrepresented in the black community is now committing more crimes, not less crimes than before. The reason for that is because now police are there to catch more crimes. But what that means is more of them are locked up, and it means the community continues its cycle of impoverishment. The over-policing of communities is what contributes to their disproportionate crime committing.
You don't see no bad doctors, no bad pharmacists, no bad surgeons. The reason why is because their licenses are getting held accountable. If something happens, your license is gone. I don't understand. It's not rocket science with police.
Why can't I just speak my mind about it?
Because
anyone
you
getting
won't stop, and it's really annoying. Because
I'm trying to say that Black Lives Matter?
you said that, and now you're good. You just keep talking about it and talking
I
about it.
can talk about it.
You can talk about it.
But you're not letting me.
We can choose not to listen because you've already said all of your points, and then you just keep going on and going on and going on.
Listening.
And it's ruining. It's just like ruining the day.
I want to be home protesting, fighting for what I believe in. I want to be peacefully protesting, being in front of all the black people so that they don't get hurt. But I'm stuck here, so this is the only way that I can communicate.
Like, basically, you know about it, and there's nothing you could do, and you can maybe take a break from it.
I don't want to.
You look like you're like a shell of yourself. You're no longer the Grace that you know.
Because this is fucking terrible.
It is.
would seem to have plenty of time to solve that.